Hey everybody, it's Mickey Kaiser with War Room Relics. We're finally getting another video on. It's the first one we've had a chance to do this week. It's been really busy in the shop, which ain't a bad thing. What we're going to cover today, I feel as a collector and a dealer, is an underappreciated area of our military history, and that's going to be the American Indian Wars. They're technically took place between 1866 and 1892. But there was some conflict going on right around the end of the Civil War in the 1864-65 time period that the U.S. military was involved with the Native Americans out west. During that time period, the U.S. military was equipped with muzzle-loading weapons still. They were trying to go to breech-loading weapons. That brought about the 1866, the model 1868s. They were Civil War surplus weapons that were converted into breech-loading weapons. But the first actual fully developed breech-loading rifle that the military used was the model 1873 Springfield trapdoor rifle. They came in three configurations. They were the rifle, full-length rifle, carbines, and then what they called the cadet rifles. Those were used at military institutions. They went through various models. There was the model 1873, the model 1879, model 1884. But then there were also variations that collectors termed the model 1873-77 when the Buffington sights came out. But those aren't official models. But during that process from 1873 up to around 1886, there were roughly 485,000 trapdoors produced for the military. Not all of them used bayonets. Obviously, the carbines didn't, but the cadet rifles and the full-length rifles did. Even though those went through variations and changes, the one thing that remained constant with the trapdoors is the bayonet that was equipped to support it. This is an 1873 trapdoor bayonet or Springfield bayonet. These didn't change throughout the course of their short history. These were also the last socket-type bayonets that were produced for the military. With the outcome or the introduction of the Craig rifle, they went away from the socket bayonet and into a lug type attachment system where they had a mortise on top of the bayonet that attached to a lug affixed to the, usually on the bottom of the barrel, sometimes on the top. But anyway, this was the last big hurrah for the socket bayonets for the U.S. military. So you had an 18-inch blued blade and a 3-inch socket, which gave you an overall length of 21 inches. There was a lug. Usually it was, well, not usually, always, it was the front sight post that acted as the attachment point for the bayonet. This part of the socket is called the mortise. That's what slipped over the barrel, engaged the front sight base, and locked the bayonet in position. This is just the locking ring to keep it from coming loose. As you can see, this one's been damaged. It no longer will fit over the barrel. But it's a pretty cool piece. I picked this up when I was down in Smyrna, Tennessee, before I moved back home. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but these bayonets, because they're produced for the U.S. military, you should see a U.S. stamping in this area. Sometimes you'll see inspector stamps to go along with it. Every once in a while on the socket or in this area here, you'll find a unit marking as well. Now the military had been using leather accoutrements. They went away from those with this. The scabbard for the 1873 trapdoor bayonet is also iron. There's a little weep hole in the bottom of it down here in case you got water inside of it. It allowed it to get out without creating a rust problem with your bayonet. This one What makes this one unique is the location of it, where it was found. This was found inside an old house that was being torn down in Woodbury, Tennessee. Now, there was a lot of fighting that took place around Woodbury during the Civil War. Forrest used to like to winter camp in that area, and there were quite a few small unit actions and a lot of military travel in that area, but not during the Indian Wars period. So it's kind of unique that this bayonet was found, and the guy that found it brought it in thinking it was a Civil War bayonet. But this thing, the Civil War had been over for 8 years before this thing was ever introduced into the military system. So, how did it get there? Who knows? Could have been a former Confederate soldier, went out west with the U.S. Army, because a lot of them came home and had nothing to come home to. But who knows how it got there? Alrighty. Here it is one more time. Your 1873 trapdoor Springfield bayonet. You can find this listed on War Room Relics. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Hope y'all have a great weekend. And take a moment and remember our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who are serving overseas. And especially take a few minutes to remember those who went overseas and never came back home. That's what Memorial Day is all about. Hope y'all have a great one.